guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Jill and today I'm going to be recommending some of my favorite short books. So let's get started. First off, I want to say happy Easter to everyone who celebrates Easter, and if you don't, then I hope you are having a wonderful day regardless. Also, I know I've been kind of MIA lately, and that's mostly because school has been completely and totally swamping me, and I've been in the worst reading slump and booktube slump just in general. Like I haven't been wanting to do anything really because school has just been so crazy. So that's why I haven't really been posting for the last 2 or so weeks. I'm sure you guys understand, but just in case you were wondering, that's where I've been. I was asked to do this video by a couple of people and I thought that it was a really good idea, and that is recommending some shorter books. Now, I personally am one that loves longer series. I love being able to connect with the characters over a long range of books. I also like really complex, epic fantasy kind of things. Like, that's kind of my gig. But every once in a while, one needs a short, quick read that you can just enjoy for the hell of it, and you don't have to think very hard, and it's not like this super complicated commitment. So I know that lots of people also go through phases where they just want books like that, so I decided to do a recommendations video recommending some of those books. So I will say these are my favorite shorter books, but like I said, I do enjoy longer series, so these books aren't like my favorite books of all time. These are just really quick, really easy, so if you're looking for something like that, then these are some that I'm going to recommend to you. And I just want to say that these are all my opinions. Obviously, there's going to be some different opinions as to what qualifies as short, but what I mean by that is sort of either books that I personally have read in one sitting or have read in one day. Obviously, people can read at different paces, and people are going to think that books are short or long differently, but these are just, in my opinion, some of my favorite short books. So let's get started. The first book I have to recommend to you guys is Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. Now, I personally downloaded this book on ebook and then I read it literally in one day. I remember that it was Thanksgiving Day. I was out to dinner and we were waiting for a table, and I was like, I should just pick up this ebook because that's what I do at family dinners. And I started reading it, and I finished it the next day. It was so adorable. So this book basically follows this absolutely adorable cast of characters. The main character is Simon, and he is gay, but he's not really open to the world yet until this person at school actually starts reading these emails that Simon is sending to this other boy, and the guy at school actually exposes these emails, and so Simon is basically forced out. It follows all that drama, and it also follows Simon and his relationship to this anonymous guy that he's been emailing, and it's just so adorable. It's so cute. Like I said, it's really quick. It's becoming a movie or a TV show. I don't remember which one. It won this award. It is fantastic. Also, Becky Albertalli. Like, this book is so cute. It was on my favorite books of 2016 list. It's amazing. Pick it up if you haven't yet. Next up, I have a book that I honestly do not talk about like at all on my channel, and that is Crash by Lisa McMann. This book is actually the first book in a trilogy, and I haven't read the other books yet. They're over there, but as you can see, it's a very short. Basically, this book follows a girl named Jules, and one day she starts having these visions of this car crash over and over and over again, and 9 body bags in the snow. And as time goes on, she starts to sort of make out the figures in the body bags, and she actually realizes that one of them is her best friend. And so it's basically her trying to prevent this from happening and trying to deal with all these visions and everything. My friend from book club actually recommended this series to me when I was like, hey, what like one book series that you would recommend to me? They recommended me this one, and it like blew me away. It was so quick. I wasn't expecting to connect with the characters, but I honestly was really connected, and it was super cute. I really need to continue on with this series. It's quick, it's easy, it's fun. Next up, I have a classic actually that I want to recommend, and I'm sure most people out there have probably heard of it because this is Ariel Basset's favorite book, but that is Animal Farm by George Orwell. I personally think it's best to go into this book not really knowing anything. This book really makes you think. It's really complex. It's really just deep and wonderful, and I personally really loved it, and I'm probably going to reread it this summer because it was just so interesting. But yeah, I would just give it a read. It's like so short, and it's like such a good classic. Next up, I actually have a book of poetry, and historically books of poetry are normally pretty quick reads, but the one I'm going to recommend is Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. I actually read this book in completely like 4 hours. I got home from Barnes & Noble and I just sat down and read it, and it was wonderful. This book has sort of been like sweeping the bookstores around. Like, lots of people have been talking about it. A ton of different themes. It's basically split up into 4 different sections, including the hurting, the loving, the breaking, and the healing, and it's It's very great. It's like feminist poetry. I loved it so much, and you can read it honestly in a couple hours, because if you look, like literally, like these are the poems. Like they're so short. It's so great. I loved it. Next up, I actually have the start of a trilogy, but I personally read this trilogy so fast, so it is definitely on this list, and that is Shatter Me by Tahereh Mafi. This whole series, like I said, personally just flew by for me. I absolutely loved this series so much. Basically, it follows a girl named Juliet, and her touch is lethal, and it basically follows her journey trying to break out of this prison, and it's really great. I will say, if you just hate with all your might flowery writing, this series may not be for you. It's very poetic. I personally really loved it, and the flowery language does dramatically decrease by the last book in the series, but this particular first book in general is very poetic. Like, it has phrases that are crossed out and stuff like that. So if you very adamantly hate things like that, this might not be for you, but I personally really enjoyed it as an adorable love story. It's really cute. Next up, I have The Smell of Other People's Houses by Bonnie Sue Hitchcock. Basically, this book follows the perspective of 4 different teenagers that live in Alaska, and legit, do you see how short this is? And it follows 4 different characters, and all kinds of crap happens to them, and I'm not even kidding you, I was sobbing at this book by the middle. That's how connected I was to these characters, and like it happened in like 50 pages. I like fell in love with 4 different distinct characters so much that I was feeling for all of them. That's how fast I connected with this book. It was crazy to me. But like I said, it follows 4 different lives in Alaska, and all kinds of bad things are happening to these teenagers, and then their lives connect, and it's beautiful, and it's wonderful, and it's legit only 200 pages, less than 200 pages. That's insane. Next up, I have a psychological thriller, and that is 3 Truths and a Lie by Brent Hartinger. I went into this book not knowing that it was a psychological thriller, and I stayed up all night. Well, actually not all night, because I did get a little freaked out by 3 a.m. and so I stopped and woke up the next day and finished it. But this just, I mean, it's a thriller, so this was like one of the first thrillers that honest to God kept me on the edge of my seat, and the twist at the end was crazy. Basically, it follows these 4 different teenagers. Like on the back it says, Truth 1, Rob is thrilled about the weekend trip. It's the perfect time for him to break out of his shell, to be the person he really, really wants to be. Liam, Rob's boyfriend, is nothing short of perfect. He's everything Rob could have wanted. They're perfect together. Perfect. 3, Maya has been Liam's best friend for years, long before Rob came along. They get each other in a way Rob could never, will never understand. 4, Galen, Maya's boyfriend, is sweet, handsome, and incredibly charming. He's the definition of the golden boy, even with the secrets up his sleeves. One of these truths is a lie, and not everyone will live to find out which one it is. It was fantastic. It kept me on the edge of my seat. It was really great, really quick. Oh my gosh. Next up, I have a graphic novel, and that is Wires and Nerve by Marissa Meyer. This is the sort of sequel-ish graphic novel to the Lunar Chronicles series. So if you haven't read the Lunar Chronicles series by Marissa Meyer, don't pick this one up. You'll be completely spoiled for it. But obviously this is a graphic novel, so it went very, very quickly for me. I read it in like a day, and it was fantastic. It was adorable. If you love the Lunar Chronicles, pick up this book because it was the best. We get to see all the characters from the series again, and it was glorious. And the final short book that I'm going to recommend to you guys is Daughter of the Pirate King by Tricia Levenseller. I mentioned this book in my last wrap-up. Basically, it follows this girl named Elosia, and she is captured by this enemy pirate ship, and she uses her time on that pirate ship to try to steal this map, and it's really badass. Like I said, it's really fun. It's not extremely complex or anything that would probably stay with me for the rest of my life, but I did have a lot of fun while reading it. So there you guys have it. Those were some of my favorite short books. I hope you gained some recommendations from this video. I hope you enjoyed. Give it a like if you did. Comment down below which favorite video that you want me to do next. Subscribe if you are new here. I have my Goodreads, Twitter, Bookstagram, and Instagram all linked down below for you guys. And yeah, thanks again so much for watching, and I will see you guys hopefully later this week, but maybe not, in another video. We'll see how my life goes. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Bye guys! And yes, this is not an Easter egg. It is a dragon egg from Game of Thrones.